T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Welcome one, welcome all. Episode 68 of the Play It By Ear podcast. And kind of funny, I sit and watch you two. I can see you on the screen and Brady primping before the camera comes on. Like he's one of those people with a powder.
Powder.
Yeah.
My Clinique for Men bag reducer.
It's good to know that you can see us, though. I have to watch picking my nose or something, or
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I can make fun of you. All right. Got 10 people in the room. Sign in, as we always ask you to do, if you would. Or if you want to loom in the shadows, like we say, you can do that too.
Lurk.
But again, lurk. Yes, that's a better word, lurk. Once again, episode 68 of the Play It By Ear podcast. By the way, some housekeeping things that we talked about. Hello, Allison. Hello, Miss Wilson.
howdy, guys.
We have talked next week that we will revise our starting time to 7 o'clock. So we'll be back on our school year schedule, I guess, for lack of a better term, that we actually have to get up and like be productive and stuff.
Yeah.
Joe Rocky, welcome.
Joe Rocky.
Hall of Famer. 2 Hall of Famers in the room, or those of you have checked in. All right. Once again, 7 o'clock next week. Join us, and again, make note of the time change. All right. If you have not been here before, once again, we all come to the top, or let me start that again. We all come to the table with a topic. Say that 3 times fast. And we talk 20-ish minutes about said topics, and who knows where it goes. We really don't know where it's going to go. But
it would be strange if we came to the topic with a table, if we each were
it
carrying
would.
a table to the topic.
A table of our choice. I think I choose a TV tray. Is that considered a table?
Yes, it is.
I've got my Amazon TV tray. That is my studio setup here in the Bray Dungeon. So,
Bray Dungeon.
yeah.
All right, gentlemen, if you would, visit our website, www.playitbyearpodcast.com. We will talk about different aspects of our website as we go along today, but while you're watching us, you can open up another tab, have a look at it, and once again, we'll talk about some different things as we go along. Another Hall of Famer, Savannah Brown, in the house. Welcome.
Howdy. Hall of Famers.
3 Hall of Famers. I'm
How you
starting
doing, Howard?
to feel a bit unimportant amongst all these Hall of Famers. Howard with us tonight. Welcome. All right. Let me see. I had something in my mind and it just flew right out of my ear.
May I fill in this gap?
Sure.
Eric. A couple of our Hall of Famers, Christy Rocky and Joe Rocky, particularly Christy, I want to give a big shout out to vacationarchitects.com. The Miss Rocky is a travel agent, and she tried her best to help me out with this Vegas trip, and she did an amazing job, and my schedule didn't work out. So I'm going to give a not a cheap plug, a grateful plug to our Hall of Famer Christy Rocky and Joe Rocky and vacationarchitects.com. If you had any more fun, it would be illegal.
Very good.
That needs to be their tagline.
Actually, Vegas heard you were coming. They said no thanks.
That is true. Although they'd see an easy mark.
All right, Mr. Heron with us. Welcome.
Hello,
as
Mr.
well
Heron.
as Gary Troutman of Sardinia
in the-
Perk
Are we in
fame.
the correct order?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I think it should be Brady, me, then you. There, you got it.
There we go.
Oh, you took me by surprise there.
Just
One
do
flip.
this. Just one flip. I'm at the helm here. I have all kinds of powers.
Power. Wonder
Power
where
him.
the power in
Power
that
him.
keyboard.
That's right.
He's a Helm-Hellion.
Yeah. All right. So we are in the order now on the screen that we will present our topics. Brady Liming is first for us. So Brady, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Okay. So, my topic in honor of going back to school, and our earbuds and our play-by-ear hosts all have one thing in common. We had to go to school. In fact, some of us work in a school. So, actually, all three of us. So, it got me to thinking of the good old school days, going back to school. But we're going to take a little bit of a different twist. See, last year we talked about things like school supplies. We've talked about some of our sophomore shenanigans before in school. But this is coming from a place, the dumbest thing that people got in trouble for in elementary school or high school. And let me define dumb. It's just something, as Johnny Cochran said in South Park, it don't make sense. It's a Chewbacca offense. So if people got in trouble for something that just, as educators and you as people, everybody out there in earbud land, you're going to relate to this because you probably maybe had something similar happen.
Oh, I can't wait.
Are you?
Wait, now we get to tell stories on each other.
Oh, yes,
I'm,
we do.
I'm looking forward to this.
I don't know about you guys, but I never got in any trouble whatsoever. So
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, that-
We
that
are
is
in
true.
episode 68 of this show, and I guess we have been far enough along that we've talked about your shenanigans that we need to bring that back up today. That you can even say that with a straight face. But
it's true. I've had a lot of practice.
continue, Brady.
Okay, so before we get into our personal tales, I found some really funny ones about people, things, once again, dumb things that they got in trouble for. Then I'm going to flip the script a little bit, and these are going to be those trouble incidents that you experienced in high school where people relay some incidents. So these are all awesome. And like I said, we're going to add some personal stories to this too. So, which Eric is salivating over. There's going to be a little chestnut that hasn't seen the light of day in years. So, all right. Here we go. So I'm going to start off with some simple ones. This person, by this way, this kind of comes from BuzzFeed. It kind of got the creative juices flowing. So this person, there was 4 kids named Aaron in my class, and someone tattled to the teacher that Aaron was throwing rocks on the playground. She asked which Aaron it was. Nobody knew, and all 4 Aarons got lunch detention,
What?
Ooh.
including 3 innocent Aaron I.
Oh, Aaron and I. I wonder if that principal got any calls.
At least
Because
3.
I guarantee that principal would have gotten some calls.
Oh,
It probably
yes.
depends on what year it was.
That
Well,
is
yeah,
true.
that's true. When we were in school, it probably would have been, well, it was just karma. You probably did something and didn't get caught for it.
All right. This one is lovingly entitled The Maddie Bag. In 4th grade, my teacher had a reward system where if you didn't disobey them rules, you could choose a gift out of the goodie bag. I was always the teacher's pet and loved the goodie bag. Well, one time in class, a peer got upset and started crying in front of the whole class. I got out of my seat and moved over to console her, and she was banned from the goodie bag that week. But she said that I was excluded from choosing a gift because I moved without asking. It was the first and only time she was ever rung up for any disciplinary action. And she said 23 years later, she's still upset about it.
So she got banned from the goodie bag because she went to console
Console an upset classmate.
a classmate.
Was that a lifetime ban from the Goody Bag, or was that just a short suspension?
I think it was a short suspension. It did not say for the rest, but she said it was the one and only time that she got rang up, but it stayed with her. All right. The unfair punishment. In the third grade, this boy kept trying to talk to me while the teacher was talking. I turned around and asked him to please be quiet. My teacher saw this and yelled at me. She literally sent me straight to the principal's office. So I was going to miss lunch and recess. I was such a good student that I cried on the way there, and my principal was shocked. When she found out what happened, she went and personally walked me down to get lunch and took me out to recess, much to the chagrin of the teacher.
Oh.
Snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Brady, if I can here, we've already got audience members bearing their souls here.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Allison, now I'm gonna say Allison, I remember this. Okay, I'll read it here. I guess I can read it since she put it out there in the comments. It's like public knowledge.
Yeah.
But, all right, she says she did not get in trouble in school. I even punched a certain guy in the face right outside the office. It was after school during track practice. The guidance counselor came out of the office to see what was going on, heard what I yelled at said guy, and did an about face and went back in the office.
Like, carry on.
I remember hearing of that. Obviously, we won't give any names. And then she goes on to say, we'll just say the guy deserved it. And
Ooh, did she go on my cousin? Elephant.
She, well, I mean, I guess considering the fact the guy did not, pursue any punishment for our Hall of Famer there, I guess he felt he maybe deserved it too. And if what I remember is correctly, and Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he said something that got you to punch him in the face. And if what I remember him saying was true, I'd say he probably deserved it.
Candace, she got in a fight with a guy in school too.
Candace, wow, we have a
shocker, Candace.
Shocker. We have several. And I'm telling you, I'm going to just say this as a high school teacher for 17 years. Girl fights, oh my goodness. I mean, just no. You get between guys and kind of separate them out, and they're just usually giving the chest out there and they're puffing up like roosters. And
the guys didn't really want to fight. That's why they were waiting for someone to come and break it up.
Want to go?
But when the girls went at it, yeah, you weren't breaking them up until they were
was
done.
Flying.
Okay, so here's the thing about the girl fight. It took the girls a lot longer to get to that point, but once they got to that point, it was like, we're seeing nothing. Hair is being grabbed, eyes are being poked, scratching, and it didn't matter what was there. I mean, like I said, if you go in as a teacher trying to break that up, it doesn't matter if you're the one in the middle of all that, you're getting it. You are getting it. So, and I guess this kind of puts me on to another story. I'll tell it. And this was my very first situation where I was observing a classroom as a college student.
I know this story.
Okay, so bell rings, class change starts, and it was about a minute or two after the bell rang, and I walked out into the hallway. Right outside the door, one girl has another girl by the back of the head like a handful of hair and just beating said girl's face into a locker. Just bam, bam, bam.
Ooh.
So, 18-year-old me's looking at this saying, man, that's pretty cool. And then I thought again, well, I guess I'm kind of in an official capacity here, so I may need to go get somebody to kind of break this thing up.
Did you look over your shoulder and say, where are the grown-up?
I was thinking it. I guess I'm a grown-up now.
Yeah.
So, there was quite a bit of blood involved in that little altercation.
The best thing you could have done is just went and got like a couch cushion and put it between the girl's face and the locker and just kept it there until they were done.
Like two fighting Jack Russells.
Because, yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, Miss Wilson, was told in an evaluation of her teaching, I'm assuming she's referring to here, that her students should not be reading and writing in her English class.
Can I ask what you were told they should be doing?
Yeah. What should they be doing? Maybe I didn't read and write as much as I should have, but that was no fault of yours. Let's just put it that way.
I was going to say, not to say they should have been doing what I was doing probably in your class. Actually,
all right. Like I say, I feel like Dr. Phil now. The audience is bearing their souls here. Joe Rocky, I know a guy and a gal that got in a fight in high school and wound up getting married some years later. I wonder who that was.
Well, first off, Guy didn't fight any. Just let's clear that up.
Said guy getting his rear end kicked in 1990, whatever, and still getting his rear end kicked in 2021.
Not much has changed.
Candace's question is, how is there a couch cushion at school? Well, from the teacher's lounge, of course.
Yes, Candace. And it would be covered in smoke.
At least the teacher's lounge we're talking about would have been
Mountain Dew splatter.
Of course, you would have had to pry those smoking teachers off of said couch to get the cushion.
That is true. Just move the ashtray.
All right, Howard with a story here. He was on the fringe as an observer, which I find questionable here at the beginning of this story, but we'll go on. In high school, some of my classmates put live chickens in the drop ceiling of Eastern High School. They then scattered chicken feed in various parts of the school up in the drop ceiling. The janitors were busy poking the tiles for hours.
That is brilliant.
Howard was, let me put my air quotes up here so everybody can see, observer on the fringe.
Oh, man. That is classic. I can only imagine the chicken feces and feathers and clucking noise that those janitors and people had to put up with.
John telling on his wife. It sounds like Savannah in school, the beating the head against the locker. No, come on, John. Really? No, I don't believe it.
This next story, on a day like today, is very poignant. There's that word again.
Poignant. That's like for a Christmas movie.
Yes. But hey, for some of our non-local play-it-by-ear listeners, it was about 100 degrees heat index in our neck of Ohio. And so it's really hot today. So I got in trouble, this person says, for drinking water. I'm not even kidding. It was a hot summer's day. I forgot my water bottle. So at lunch, I helped myself to the water jug that every table in my lunch hall had. I ended up drinking so much water that the lunch ladies had to refill it a couple times. The next day, just before playtime, my teacher stopped everyone from leaving and said that the lunch ladies complained the kids were drinking water.
The nerve.
Too much water, and they didn't appreciate kids going for refills. None of us were allowed to leave until they knew who this dreaded water demon was, and being a typical kid, I kept quiet. Then my friend called me out and threw me under the bus. As punishment for drinking water, I wasn't allowed outside for the rest of the day, and I was not allowed to drink water for the rest of the week.
Wow. So apparently they had not heard of the Serenia Elementary 1-2 shoe method.
I knew it was coming.
You put that story out there just to set up the 1-2 shoe, didn't you?
I mean, we couldn't even back in that day. You couldn't even get a 1-2-3 flea or a 1-2-3-4 no more. It had to be 1-2 shoe.
Cut out that jive.
And if you really pissed a teacher off, it was 1 done. Go.
1 done. Okay, now wait a minute. What? Yeah, 1-2-3 flea. Is that like FLEE flea?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
not FLEA flea.
It was meant to be a synonym for shoe.
Yeah,
not
shoe.
SHOE shoe.
SHOO shoe.
Oh man,
Josh, welcome. He goes with 1-2-3. Leave some for me.
There you go.
On that.
Yeah.
I can remember we would always when we even at that age. I can remember like when we would get a drink of water, like if you were on your own, not as a class water trip or whatever drink trip. It would always mock the teacher like 1, 2, 3. 4. Just drink as long as you wanted.
Or do the WWE.
What are you going to do about it?
The good old, no, I should say Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, the official that was on the take, he would count the 1,
Yeah.
2. The baddies.
Okay, so another story here. So again, I'll put up my air quotes, Mr. Heron. A friend of mine let 3 chickens loose in school and numbered them 1, 2, and 4. The custodian looked for hours for a chicken with the number 3.
That's
Outstanding.
So cruel. That is so cruel. Oh man. So, but yeah, I always thought that was kind of like when you get those little trickly water streams and you end up looking like a thirsty golden retriever, kind of.
Okay,
like dying.
so the things you learn that you really didn't necessarily want to know, but you find out anyway as a person who is privy to the health department coming into a school building. Did you know that there's an actual measurement of how high the water arc has to go on top of the faucet?
Really?
And you get written up if it is not said height.
You should, because there's nothing worse than having to French kiss a water fountain.
A fountain hole.
Yes. Hate that.
Then you get that prankster that in the first lunch would put their partially chewed Hubba Bubba in the small hole of the fountain.
Make it
And you
shoot
get
across.
Get a nose douche. It would just go,
Yeah.
Brady.
We have pretty cool water fountains now at our school where you just put your bottle into there and it fills your. You have
Yeah.
those? It fills your
you
water
get that
bottle.
kid that puts their head in there.
I don't know if it would recognize it. I don't know how that works.
I'll tell you, ours is fast. I mean, you put
Yeah.
the water in, it's a.
Yeah.
You better pull that bottle out, or it's going all over the place.
Old faithful. All right. This one, when I did, this one made me laugh really hard, and I don't know why. I might be alone on this. This one's called the Science Denier. I was sent to the principal's office in first grade for saying that I could see the moon during the day. It was right after we assembled around the flagpole and we said the Pledge of Allegiance, and I looked up and said, "Wow, there's the moon." One of the close by teachers scolded me and told me to stop lying. I instead doubled down and was like, "No, it's right there," because you know how the moon shows in the morning? Well, evidently this teacher did not look up, and the child was sent to the office for lying about the moon being out during the day.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
That
What? But
Just
we
let
have
it
no
go to the
context,
teacher.
though. We got to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I mean, we're not. We have to somewhat defend some teachers here because we don't know. Was it in the middle of like a test and all of a sudden the kid just yells out, "Look, you can see the moon!" Like interrupts the class.
Instead of the story, they just finished the Pledge of Allegiance outside around the flagpole.
So they were okay. Yeah, I missed that
and
part.
she
I
said,
apologize.
"No,
I wasn't
there
listening.
it is," and the teacher wasn't
Gotcha.
looking up.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I was thinking because sometimes you get that like does anybody have any questions about the test and somebody raises their hand and like so there's the moon or my goat ran away. You just get some kind of weird.
My coat ran away.
My goat ran away. Oh my! So this one before I switch gears is called the biter. In second grade, there was a group of kids who would play tag at recess every day. For weeks, it was the same kids. Then random kids would join and leave as they please. One day, a boy named Josh, not Josh Michael, joined, but got mad whenever he got tagged, even though that was part of the game. I tagged him, and he bit me, and in all caps, hard. There was teeth marks, and it drew blood.
Ooh.
I'm no snitch, so I went to wash the blood off, but a teacher saw me and sent me to the office. The principal brought Josh in, and Josh made up a story how I bullied him every day. The principal gave me a week of in-school suspension for getting bit.
So maybe said kid did said kid have bullying tendencies or what? I mean,
If we take the story at face value, it was a waif in the woods, just a innocent kid who tagged a kid, and then somebody bit him on the hand. Didn't even snitch the kid out.
yeah, that's high integrity individual right there.
Right there,
Take the bite and just go wash the blood off.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we have some more input from our audience here. Let's see, Savannah said they used to tell the underclassmen there was a pool on the roof of the high school. I believe I may have heard that story along the line somewhere. Miss Wilson, continuing with her story about children should not read and write in English class. She was never told as to what they should be doing, but when she wrote her rebuttal to the evaluation, the superintendent called me and said he was concerned about the tone of her rebuttal. Apparently, I may have implied the principal was stupid. Implied or out and out said it?
The principal is a Dumas.
Howard, guilty in this one. As one of 4 sophomores on the basketball team who saw very little playing time, we were frustrated during the homecoming game. Even though we were ahead by 20 with 2 minutes left in the game, we weren't going to be put in despite the crowd clamoring for it. So we stood up, saluted the crowd, went to the locker room. The game ended. The rest of the team came in as we filed out completely dressed. The coach never even noticed.
Wow.
Or maybe he noticed and didn't want to address it.
Yeah.
Hello, Brianna.
Brianna.
Bree is with us. Bree from Let's Chat Live. Hello,
Bree.
Took me a second to make the connection.
Yeah.
Brady's sister from another mother.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Having some cereal with a fork.
And some Miracle Whip.
Miracle. No, you said it wrong. Miracle
Whip. All right.
So,
go ahead.
I'm going to guess and say that you guys didn't get in much trouble when you were Utes. Am I right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a good thing. You should be proud of it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I had a rough way to go up until 4th grade. I got paddled a few times.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
I
First
did as
grade,
well.
first grade got paddled. Second grade, I decided one day that I was going to stay out on the playground after everyone else went in at recess.
It's a reasonable decision.
Reasonable decision until you figure out that everyone else went in. There's no one else to play with out there. So you kind of got to tuck your tail between your legs and walk back in the building at some point. Not a whole lot of forethought going on there from my second grade mind, and ended up getting some swats on that one.
Yeah. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. And in 3rd grade, I got swats, and I'm telling you, I didn't deserve it. Brady will remember this. So yeah. So we had a substitute teacher, and apparently it was a bad day for the sub, and don't remember exactly what was going on there, but the sub basically said, if anyone else gets out of their seats, you're getting swats. I had a legitimate question about what we were doing. No. I had a legitimate question about what we were doing, the work. I was actually doing work. I went up to ask, and my name got put down on the list, and I got swatted the next day. And I pleaded my case, and it fell on deaf ears, and I got swatted anyway. And
I thought you were going to tell me the sub swatted you. I was going to say a sub swatted.
No. Yeah, I don't think even back in 1979, a sub swatting was not going to happen.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, I have no reason to lie. I got paddled twice and did not deserve it either time, but I didn't get paddled a lot of times that I did deserve it, so it all worked out, I guess. But
so that whole karma argument there.
Yeah, I got paddled the first week of school in 1st grade. And
that's a record, man.
It was to this day. That was the only time that my mom ever went in and actually fought or complained or said anything to the because my parents weren't that way, and I didn't want them to be that way. But that was the only time, and the teacher actually admitted that we were a rough bunch and that we had been kind of driving her nuts all that first week, and she kind of picked me out to prove to the class what would happen.
You were the example.
Yes.
The sacrificial lamb.
But the very next week, I got the good listening ear. And
wow.
That pretty much nice consolation prize there for the ass whooping I got the week before.
All right, so now that brings me to another first grade story.
Played by award-winning year there.
Yes,
Josh Griffin.
My first grade teacher.
Can I talk about the time that I got sent to the office after we were done reading this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
Sorry,
are you
there was a
locking?
delay.
Are
Am
you
I back?
freezing?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're back
No,
now.
it was
I
a
was
brief,
starting it.
blip. It's fine now.
I was starting in on my story about my first grade experience there with our first grade teacher, or mine, not Brady's. Brady had another one, but my first grade teacher, again, this is now 1977-ish, and she, back then, would take a paint stirrer, and if you did something you weren't supposed to, you got a little whap on the hand. So my dad went to parent-teacher conference, and Pete Fiskus said, I don't want you hitting him on the hand anymore. He may need his hands at some point in his life. You can hit him on the butt all you want, but don't hit him
need
on
that.
No, he won't need that. Don't hit him on the hands anymore. So, yeah, that kind of set the tone. My dad was totally fine with me getting paddled if I needed said discipline.
And I could speak for all of us. We were told that if we got paddled in school, we'd get it when we got home.
And we did.
Yeah. Well, that was one time I didn't. The time I told you about, because like I said, I didn't deserve it. But in third grade, oddly enough, I didn't get the paddle, and I probably told this story with one of our earlier episodes, our first few episodes. I know we touched on some school stuff, but I got in trouble twice in third grade that I remember, and once I had to wear a sign on my back that said "I am a tattletale." I had to wear it all day. Could you imagine now putting a sign on a student's back and making them wear it? Could you imagine? But yeah, I had to wear it all day. And then that same year, I was singing a song in the bathroom. It's a song everybody knows. This is the way we pick our nose, pick our nose, pick our nose. This is the way we pick our nose so early in the morning. And oddly enough, somebody told on me. They told on the tattletale. You don't tattle on the tattletale. They tattled on the tattletale.
Would that
and
be daddled?
and so I had to stand up in front of the class and sing that song to the entire class.
The days of public humiliation.
So my audience went from 2 other boys and a wall of urinals to 25 other kids, including girls, which was very embarrassing.
Yes.
Once again, some more soul bearing by our audience here. First of all, Bree said she gets so much crap on how she uses Miracle Whip. I think we totally
It's
went
undeserved.
through that. It is undeserved. Miss Wilson, 2 different times and in 2 different schools, I was caught passing a note to this certain guy. So I'm assuming this was elementary school, then middle school, or middle school, then high school.
Same guy?
Or she had a stalker.
Well, she says, sorry, Randy, at the end, so it must have been the same guy. Got a frown from the teacher, and he got paddled. He got paddled for receiving a note? What kind of...
Frown from the teacher. All I
What
can imagine is the...
What kind of unfair discipline is that?
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Mr. Heron says I'm a rebel and that I deserved my 3rd grade paddling. I told you I deserved things before that, which I got. I did not deserve the 3rd grade
I didn't deserve that
paddling.
one.
I remember telling the teacher to paddle me one time because I was choosing paddling over another punishment that they were going to give me.
Which was what?
I had been... I know we talked about this in another episode, but we were in the cafeteria and I was mixing my chilled tomato, stewed tomatoes or whatever, with my baked beans and my chocolate milk, and I was mixing it up. A nice gumbo, elementary gumbo, and
Gumbo.
the cafeteria person came and told me I needed to take a bite of it, and I couldn't do it. And I said, I just said I'll take a paddle. I'll take a paddling, and I think they just sent me to the principal's office.
Oh man, Rachel, that is a horrifying story.
Yeah, Bree says we all get along so well because we all got paddled. That's
Well,
probably
Brady
true.
didn't get paddled.
Well, did you, Brady? I seem to remember.
No, actually,
You got threatened with it.
I got threatened with it. We won't even get into that story.
And you almost made some smart ass remark which would have gotten it for you, but you refrained.
For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm a bit of a wiseacre here, but I was a very non-wiseacre, mouthy kid. So continue, Eric.
I was looking at Bree's comment up there.
Yeah,
that's worse than the wearing the sign on your back that says I'm a tattletale. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
she says her sister's elementary school teacher wrote an F on her head in permanent marker because she corrected the teacher one day. The scarlet, was that in red, the scarlet letter? What does the F mean?
I was going to say, what does the F mean? Shut the beep up.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, man.
Allison says her husband got paddled at school by an older lady. She missed and hit him in the back right in the kidneys.
God.
What was he passing blood after that paddling?
Who was it that told me the story about like a real heavy hitter paddler, and he I guess had been waiting to paddle. Probably one of my cousins had been waiting to get. This guy had been waiting to paddle him, and finally caught him. Was going to paddle him. He wound up and missed and hit like a cart or something beside him, and they just got more mad and even paddled him harder after he got mad and hurt his hand or something like that. I can't remember who told me that story.
Oh, man.
So Miss Wilson says she thought one of the Warrior mascots got a raw deal when he was punished because he shot the Ripley Blue Jay mascot with a foam arrow.
Yeah,
Cancel culture.
definitely couldn't get by with that now.
John never got paddled by anybody except his mom
It's all teachers were scared of him.
because teachers are scared. Angie, welcome. Been a while. Got the paddle in kindergarten for first calling a kid a butt wipe after he called me a mad ball face.
I think it's
This could be the first time an audience member has broken one of the hosts. Congratulations,
it was
Angie.
you. It was.
Oh, my God.
A mad ball face or a mad ball face? I don't know how you say that.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
it certainly is an angry testicle face area.
Wait a minute. No. Sorry. I know what she's talking about. Mad balls. Do you remember?
Yes,
the
that's-
Mad Balls?
Yeah, I do too. But Eric, they're not pronounced mad balls. They're mad balls.
It all depends where you put the emphasis on the syllable.
Oh goodness.
White snake? White snake.
What snake?
Yeah, I used to love mad balls back in the day.
Ranger Dan.
I said butt wipe deserved it, Angie.
Josh Michael was once paper chained to his seat. All the students in the class helped make the paper chain because they were tired of me getting up to talk to them. As I sat there, a good friend of mine slipped me a pair of scissors so I could get out. So you're saying you were too weak to break through a paper chain.
I don't want to know where the kid hid the pair of scissors to get to him.
They weren't actual scissors. They were just this. They were.
Angie says the teacher called her mom and she asked me how my day was. I lied and told her just fine, not knowing the teacher had called.
Just fine.
Just fine. My rear end feels just fine. Gary wrote a girl's phone number on the bathroom wall in the 5th grade at a Christian school in a church. That's outstanding, too.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, like, in a 5th grade at a Christian school, they would probably write, like, it was probably call that number for homework help.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Yeah, right. Josh said, I was scared of the teacher to break out. Yes, I could have broken through paper chains. That remains to be seen there, Josh. Bree, in elementary school, a girl in front of me always put her long hair on my desk, so I fixed it and cut it.
oh,
Ooh.
holy mackerel!
No access to scissors for you, Bree.
Man. Can I?
No Fiskers for you.
Angie got detention in
Feisters?
high school for stuffing her bra with balloons.
Same.
Speaking of that kind of
Hang on
object,
one second. Why would they care? Why would their school care? Why would they care what you stuffed your bra with?
I mean, if she's a first grader, it's gonna, it would look like, you know what I mean?
She said high school.
Oh, okay, yeah, I missed
She said
that
high
part.
school. So I mean, would have they cared if they would have been fruit or if you'd have used something else other than balloons?
I'm guessing they probably had a problem with stuffing the bra with anything that shouldn't have been in the bra.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Just spitballing there.
I
Yeah.
have to ask Angie, how did they find out that?
No, because she shoved them in
lactated.
someone's face. It wasn't the fact she stuffed him in there. She stuffed him in someone's face.
Gotcha.
That's what did it.
Oh my gosh.
Did they pop?
They pop. Oh, Lord.
Can I tell the story of my time that I got sent to the principal's office?
Please. Do.
I think it's time for that, Brady.
It's time. This tale has been discussed about coming out on our show, but this is finally the opportunity. And I want to preface by saying that when I was called over the intercom for me to come to the office, when I got called, the people in that office was fully intending that I was guilty, and I was not. So here we go. One day in 8th grade, a friend of ours that will remain nameless asked us, like, "Hey, I've got a lot of homework tonight. Can I borrow your duffel bag?" Like, sure. So the next day, like a champ, he brought the duffel bag back. He was a man of his word. And so we go to lunch. And then Brady Liming, please come to the principal's office. Brady Liming. So I was like, what the heck? So I did the walk of shame from the cafeteria, which I was at, to the principal's office to find my teacher. When my duffel bag opened, grinning from ear to ear as he was holding the Playboy magazine that had been retrieved from my duffel bag. And I would have been less surprised if that teacher was wearing a ballroom gown, and much like the lady in the picture. But anyway, I was totally stunned and in shock. So let's backtrack. How did my book bag end up with the Playboy magazine inside of it? Well, the deal was that another student, put this magazine in my duffel bag for that kid to take home. Homework indeed. And then looked at it and brought it back the next day to return to the other student. Well, they would have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling teachers. Yeah. So we all went to lunch, and this friend excused themselves to go back to the lunchroom to get something, thinking the teacher was going to be gone. So he was in there enjoying the articles when the teacher walked in and caught him. And of course, it was in my duffel bag. So that's how I ended up in the office. But like a champ, when I was called into the office, it made him squirm because he was a man of his word and integrity. And when I walked in and saw that I was about ready to get taken to the gallows, he said, nah, he didn't have anything to do with it. He didn't know I borrowed his book bag. So that's how I was in the office about a Playboy magazine that was not mine.
That I'm pretty sure that's the same way Greg Brady got busted with cigarettes.
Right.
I think it is.
Maybe that's where the idea came from. Oh, Brady.
Yep.
Let's just say if there was a Playboy magazine at home with an 8th grade boy, there was definitely some homework going on there. I caught you mid-drink, Brady.
I was not. Oh, man.
So
That's terrible.
Angie said there was no popping of said balloons in her bra. Gary said another listener here may have been involved in writing that number on the wall in the 5th grade to help people. Now, you shouldn't use the term loosen up. You really shouldn't use that with writing a number on a wall there, Gary.
Yes.
And Brady, yes, Brady played the good kid. There was some things he didn't get caught doing either.
Hey, now.
So yeah, you come on.
Pure as the driven snow, this one.
Yeah, right. So Bree's all kinds of stories. She didn't want to run laps in gym in middle school one day, so she organized a sit-in. Everyone refused to run, and I got sent home for instigating a riot. I think that would be more. I think it'd be more of a protest than a riot.
Yeah, they started flipping the desks and getting the scooters and
then taking that parachute and wrapping people up in it.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, gentlemen, is that good on this topic?
I think it is. We went a little bit long, but
that works.
Thank you all for enjoying this topic. I hope as much as I had.
All right. Before we move into topic number 2, I want to remind you that memberships support our work on the podcast. And we do, as I said, we have some Hall of Famers here in the room with us. Savannah and Allison's here, and Joe Rocky's here. And I should have pre-arranged for the proper page to be up so I can share it. Our membership page on our website, if you go to the menu screen, and here I'm rambling trying to find the support page. There we go. There's our Earbud Hall of Fame: Allison Chavis, Christy Rocky, Joe Rocky, Chuck Griffin, Savannah Brown, Jessica Longacre, all members of our podcast. If you would like to explore membership of our podcast, there's the Buy Me a Coffee link, and this little cup of coffee right here is on every page, so you don't even have to go directly to the support page to find it. It's on all the pages there. So that takes you to our crowdsourcing platform, Buy Me a Coffee, and you can find out from there how to become a member. All right. Todd,
All right.
number 2 topic of the night.
So I'm going to stick with the school topic in honor of us going back to school. I believe you guys have students coming back next week, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, and my students will be back tomorrow. So tomorrow is my first day of school with students. And, one of the things that's always fun to talk about are school lunches. We mentioned some of that earlier. And with my 3rd week in a row, I have picked a food topic. And this actually is more out of interest than humor, although I'm sure we can find some things funny about it by reminiscing on our own school lunches. But anyway, this is a look at school lunches, what school lunches look like every decade since 1900. And I thought it was pretty fascinating. So take a trip with me back to 1900. First off,
the year 1900.
Most children, and I'm going to try to summarize this as I go. Most school children ate lunch at home in the 1900s. In 1900, the vast majority of children in the early 1900s went home for lunch. In some rural communities, children would bring food from home to school. If their teacher was industrious, I like this. Basically, they would bring ingredients for a communal stew cooked in a kettle.
I don't believe the words communal and stew should be in the same sentence.
Well, that seems odd to me that you just, because I just picture some little boy with like a toad and 3 carrots in his pocket, and you just,
made me think about
a lupine foot.
Yeah.
Made me think of Oliver Twist. Can I have more, sir?
Can I have some more?
In cities like Boston and Philadelphia, organizations like the Women's Educational Industrial Union began providing meals for school children. Elementary school children were given crackers, soup, and milk.
Mint.
Tilt. Just be mint.
At Boston's trade school for girls, lunch selections included celery soup with croutons. So Eric wouldn't have eaten it because of the celeries, unless you didn't know they were in there. Stuffed tomatoes, which I assume is a chilled or a stewed tomato.
And so would there be a more tasteless, and I don't mean tasteless as in rude, but lacking taste dish in this world than celery soup?
Well, they do have croutons. That adds some.
Yeah. But I mean, the soup by itself, you would have to have the croutons to have any taste.
You'd have to have
True.
something.
But you also would have been
Water
treated
stew.
to apple shortcake,
Ooh.
Hey.
baked beans, and brown bread.
Brown bread.
Brown bread. Hot brown and plenty of it.
Cocoa to drink.
Cocoa.
Cacao.
It's cocoa.
Cocoa.
So clearly, early on in the 1900s, school lunches were not what we remember school lunches as being. So let's move on to 1910. At this point, volunteer organizations got involved, and they became the main source for low-cost subsidized schools or school lunches. By 1912, more than 40 cities across the U.S. offered programs through groups like the New York School Lunch Committee, which offered 3-cent meals.
The Humane Society.
Kids didn't get much for their money. Pea soup, lint PEA, lentils, or rice in a piece of bread. But if they had an extra cent, just one extra cent, you could spring for an additional side like stewed prunes. I ain't paying no cent for stewed prunes today. Rice pudding or a candied apple. Now, what kind of little weirdo is spending that penny on stewed prunes or rice pudding and not a candied apple?
Not
One
the
is
candied
suffering
apple.
from a fiber deficiency, obviously.
Gosh. Do
So-
you reckon that means candied apple like we think of candy apples?
I bet it's like
No.
a cinnamon and sugar and like froth,
Yeah.
brown sugar. Yeah.
So do you suppose maybe some children were assigned the stewed prunes
I don't know.
based upon their needs, as Brady said?
I wonder if they had a choice. But it says that in rural areas, parent-teacher committees pooled their resources. They started programs that serve meat and potato stew to school children using ingredients donated by parents. So again, we have the ingredients being sent in, this time not by the kids, because I assume that they got too many just pocketfuls of dirt or something, that the kid had a radish in his pocket or something and dropped it on the way to school, walking uphill, uphill both ways in the snow.
All I can
Right.
think about is like the stewed prunes. That is probably what gave birth to the term prune whistle. If you had a classroom full of kids eating stewed prunes, it'd be a cacophony of prune whistles.
First off, also, is anything stewed good? Like
That's what I was going to say. I don't want anything stewed. I don't want stew.
Stewed apples are good.
Oh, you don't like beef stew?
No.
I like beef stew.
If it's a noun, it's okay. If it's a verb, it's not.
There, I agree. All right.
Well,
Moving
I
on.
guess my main problem with beef stew is I'm just not a big gravy person. And
I love gravy.
it's,
1920s ushered in the hot school lunch. The emphasis on providing a hot lunch took hold during this era. By the early 20s, more and more kids were chowing down on stews, boiled meats, creamed vegetables, and bread.
no, back up here for a moment. So we didn't get hot school lunch till 1920. So were we eating cold stew before that?
I assume cold stew.
That's no good.
But get this. This is what surprised me. Health experts warned, even back in 1920, they were saying that these meals were nutritionally deficient.
You think?
Yeah. So anyway, parents began to worry. Community lunch programs were left on their own devices. they were basically afraid that if kids were left to their own, that they would eat pickles and chips and coffee and frankfurters
and candied apples.
Yeah. So at that point, that's when the practice of home economics teachers having students prepare nutritionally balanced lunches, paving the way for modern cafeteria and kitchen setup. So that started, I guess, with like economics classes and things like that. 1930s. Surplus farm commodities transformed school lunches in the 1930s. So in the wake of the Great Depression, the federal government authorized the U.S. Department of Agriculture to buy up surplus food from farmers and funnel it into school lunch programs. As a result, this is what we got. We started getting things like beef, pork, butter.
Pork. Beef, pork, and butter?
That's right. Beef, pork, and butter.
Yeah, butter. There we
In
go.
a cardiology class.
Yes. But people like anthropologist Margaret Mead still push for balanced meals. Relief organizations in New York City served up fresh apples, bananas, vegetable soups, and peanut butter sandwiches. So that's like the first thing so far that I remember having at our lunches. Vegetable soup and peanut butter sandwiches.
Now, they had peanut butter sandwiches with the vegetable soup?
It doesn't. I doubt it because it just says fresh apples, bananas, vegetable soups, and peanut butter sandwiches.
Because it's common knowledge that peanut butter sandwiches can only be eaten with chili.
Oh, yes. And you eat grilled cheeses with soup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not chili soup either.
What? Wasn't Margaret Mead, was she the lady with the apes? Margaret Mead, isn't she like an animal
no, I don't know.
Okay, I'll have to look that up because I was
Are you talking
confused.
about the movie Grill is in the... Was it Grill is in the
Yeah.
Midst?
Grill is in the midst,
Yeah. In the midst.
Midst.
Eric, you're going to like this part, though. So this one guide published by the USDA recommended combining... this is basically them trying the early attempts at producing nutritious meals on a budget. But because of that, they were producing oddball recipes, like combining peanut butter with cottage cheese or salad dressing to make a sandwich filling. So not up a drop of it on top of it. They wanted the peanut butter mixed with cottage cheese or salad dressing.
What in the world? Okay, so this is an apropos time to put this comment up. Blake Kibler witnessed Todd eating the college cheese mixed with the coleslaw and is forever traumatized. Indeed, Blake, I don't know how you could have eaten your own lunch.
How's it going, brother? By the way,
that.
the famous local author Blake Kibler.
Yes, we have royalty in our midst.
His next book is going to be The Day He Ate Cottage Cheese. And
So
a
what he's
horror
talking
novel.
about, we went and grabbed lunch today together, and we went to Frisch's, and I was craving some cottage cheese and coleslaw, and I told him I was going to take a picture to send to you guys. He thought I was kidding. He didn't think I was actually going to mix it. He's like, "Oh, dude, you really are mixing." And I think he just thought I was kind of going to do it for the picture, but no, I ate it. It was tasty.
No, he thought you were doing a stewed tomato chocolate milk concoction like you did in elementary school.
But it's very important that you put the coleslaw on top of the cottage cheese, so the coleslaw juices you let gravity take control and do the job.
It's important you don't sully Frisch's coleslaw with college cheese. That's what's important.
All right, so 1940s. The National School Lunch Act expanded access to school lunches in the 1940s, but didn't improve the menu. So by that time, every U.S. state had federally supported lunch programs in place. But during World War II, the funding and obviously the number of available workers dropped, leaving a lot of kids without meals. So let's scroll down and see what kind of foods we were eating. A USDA guide to menu planning using farm surpluses included recipes for creamed chipped beef. Shit on a shingle. We've talked about that before.
No, I didn't hear anything about a piece of bread, so that's just the shit.
Well,
right? Without the shingle.
Shingle is shit. I don't give a shingle a shit. All right, that's three S bombs in like a matter of 5 seconds.
We're
That's
going to lose our rating.
pushing our TV 14 rating. That's a good point, though, Eric. I mean, but if you're going to eat cream chip beef, you got to set it on something. I mean, it doesn't. You don't just sop it up out of
a tray compartment with nothing.
You put it on aluminum foil. It'll be a tin roof.
Also, Spanish rice.
What wasn't that a name of a play? Shit on a tin roof. Shit on a hot tin roof.
It was a movie, right?
Cat.
No.
Well, don't tell
I
me the
know,
cat,
Brady,
Don't
I
tell me
know.
the cat didn't eventually defecate on said tin roof.
That's the sequel.
No, it's a cat shitting razor blades on a hot tin roof.
or a dog
seeds.
crapping peach pits.
Yeah. Peach pits or seeds? I think it's seeds.
What? Peaches have pits.
Well, but the pit's the big part in the middle, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
dog.
it is.
He doesn't give a pit.
All right, but this is interesting. Spanish rice, which I actually would have enjoyed in lunches. Spanish rice and bacon,
Ooh,
cornmeal pudding,
Cornmeal pudding.
Lovely pudding.
fruit shortcake, and a pork hash known as scrapple.
Oh, Scrapple. If
Yeah.
my mom is going to be commenting in seconds if she's listening. I've got a Scrapple story later.
Scrappled apple.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of scrapple in years before I read that. All right, 1950s, gentlemen. Guess what happens? The private food companies get involved.
Oh, my.
They get involved in school lunch business in the 1950s. Feeding young baby boomers meant school districts had to ramp up production in a big way. In addition to traditional hot lunches, many began serving cold lunches, which included a variety of sandwiches, cottage cheese, pork and apple salads, tomato
Together?
wedges, and ice creams.
Here we go. Now we're talking.
By 1952, the school lunch had become a $415 million business in 1952.
Gosh, that's
How many billions would that be today?
really.
And this is, we've talked about this before. This ties in. Private companies eager for a slice of the action begin contracting with the school districts. Branded lunchboxes themed to TV shows like Gunsmoke and Hopalong Cassidy began appearing on lunch tables.
There'll be a shotgun blast, but it ain't going to be the gun. Got
So
them
during
stupid
this
prunes.
post-war food industry rapidly growing, children were fed rich, protein-heavy dishes like cheese meatloaf, sausage shortcake,
What?
ham and bean scallop, and orange coconut custard with cottage cheese.
There's a lot of alliteration in that dish. Orange coconut custard and cottage cake. Okay, $451 million in 1952 equals $4,432 million today.
That's crazy.
That is
Man.
crazy.
You know, though, cheese meatloaf sounds good if it's just meatloaf with cheese in it. And I don't know what sausage shortcake is, but I would try that. Ham and bean scallop, does that mean... Is
Ham
it
and
scallop,
bean.
like scallop corn or scallop potatoes, or is it like a sea scallop?
I
ham
bet
and
that would
beans
be
on it.
pretty pricey.
Yeah.
And any scallop that's put in a can, it's probably just garden slug that they've thrown in there because I wouldn't trust a canned scallop.
Here you go, Brady.
All right, Brady, you called it.
Yeah.
Oh, Brady, your poor Uncle Tom will never order that again. Brady's mom in the room.
Being tourists in Philadelphia, we stopped at a Revolutionary era tavern. They were serving authentic food, and my Uncle Tom ordered the scrapple, and he thought it was
Scrappled apple.
crapple.
He didn't like it. For some reason, it reminds me of what Getta's kind of like, and I like Getta, so maybe I would like Scrapple.
You might.
We have several
Okay.
audience comments here.
Go ahead.
Savannah would have gone for the rice pudding instead of the candied apples.
So is rice pudding and tapioca similar? Because I like tapioca.
Yeah, I believe they are.
Okay.
Instead of bird eyeballs, there's rice in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the tapioca. That's a friend of ours always says it was bird eyeballs.
Yeah. I always thought fish eyeballs.
Well, yeah, that too. We were corrected twice at Jane Goodall with the but Margaret somebody. I'm with you, Brady. There was some Margaret somebody who did some research out in the jungle or something. I don't know. Christy says, and I've heard this too, peanut butter sandwiches and chili are a very Southern Ohio thing. Other areas of the world eat pimento cheeses with their chili.
And it's called Moscow and Beijing and all the other center of the communist universe.
Now, I like some pimento cheese, but I don't like it on sandwiches. I like it on Ritz crackers.
Gary with the nicely played there, a scat on a hot tin roof.
There you go.
If you put your scrapple, if you put your scat on a piece of aluminum foil, it's scat on a hot tin roof.
That's a hobo version of it. The
Howard says, "Don't call it shit on a shingle, call it poop on the stoop."
I still remember our friend's argument that he argued for years that chip beef gravy was not shit on a shingle because shit is not white was his argument. He took the shit literally as opposed to shit as in I'm not eating this shit. Yeah.
I don't believe he's seen a dog dropping in the middle of the summer in the yard. That can indeed be white. Dale, if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding, or your meat can be your pudding, apparently, in some of these dishes.
If you don't eat your meat, you can't have your orange coconut custard with cottage cheese. Just didn't have the same ring to it as
coconut custard, cottage cheese. Allison has tried some unique dishes in various parts of the world, and none of them made her gag like the thought of some of these mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, Allison, I don't know if you were still in high school. You may have been for the infamous Baloney Salad.
Oh.
Probably would have made you gag.
It was.
Was bologna... Now, tell me...
Pepto-Bismol colored bologna salad.
Okay, but ham salad has bologna in it. We've talked about this before. A lot of ham salad has bologna in it. Was that what it was? Like a spread?
It was, yeah. It was
The true story. And I'm really not kidding. They flat out said they had a lot of stuff left over. It was at the end of school, so to use it, they just packaged up all the bologna and they made salad out of it.
It was a version of Cook's Choice.
I would have eaten
It's called Cook's Dare.
and I would have liked it.
Have at it.
All ham salad has a pinkish hue to it.
Pinkish hue.
Pepto-Bismol pink. I mean, it was glowing. It was like waste. It was like atomic
neon.
waste.
Now, are you sure it wasn't the poor man's Pepto, pink bismuth?
You would have needed the bismuth afterwards.
All right, 1960s. This is an important decade, guys, because in the 1960s, pizza was introduced to school lunch menus.
Yeah, there we go.
This was pizza.
Foods once considered ethnic, like pizza, enchiladas, and chili con carne?
Con carne.
Con carne?
Carne.
Made their way onto school menus. Kids could also rely on traditional favorites like PB&J sandwiches, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and fish sticks with tartar sauce. No tartar sauce for me. Ketchup is the only thing.
School lunches hit their zenith in the 1960s. School pizza and school fish. Schools do two things well, and those are the two things schools do well.
In New York's central facility, 100 workers each produced 300 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches per hour, while dozens of vats of hard-boiled eggs. There's a mistake there.
Holy cow. Imagine the smell of that place. Vats of hard-boiled eggs.
All right, so moving along, because that was the buzzer. So in the 70s, this is interesting, because where we lived, this didn't happen. So it always interested me when people that lived near the city and things like that. But fast food took over school cafeterias in the 1970s. Fruits, vegetables, and whole grains didn't stand a chance against the rising tide of fast food. Impressed with the efficiency and popularity of Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's, schools put hamburgers, French fries, and other greasy fare on their menus, which we did see that.
Well, true.
A 1974 lunch menu from the Houston School District included chili burgers, hamburgers, oven fried chicken, buttered corn, and fruit gelatin.
I feel cheated.
Fruit gelatin. The square fruit gelatins with square pieces of fruit gelatin that fit into the tray section.
It shook on its own, even when there was no movement at the lunch table. Yeah.
They could have used the basketball court in the tartan days, like
just squares of fruit gelatin.
This is also, at this point, the federal nutrition standards, they continued weakening. So the vending business came in. So vending and food service companies brought chips, candy bars, and other treats to school as well. So again, this is where it's getting good, guys. In the 80s, the government classified ketchup as a vegetable in 1980 school lunches. The federal lunch program made headlines after changes to nutrition guidelines classified ketchup as a vegetable. These guidelines were a response to early 80s budget cutting, which reduced the school lunch program from $1 billion. It was also a defining moment because basically processed food creation started coming into the picture, like chicken nuggets, cheeseburgers, and rectangular pizza slices.
Yeah, there we go.
Recognize. All right. They were always on the menu. Let's see here. Chocolate pudding, Jell-O, and sliced fruit drenched in syrup.
Yep.
Those that brought their lunch sported handy snacks. They would be handheld. Handy snacks, fruit roll-ups, and pouches of Capri Sun. That was Brady. To this day, he's still taking his Capri
I had
Sun.
one earlier.
Yeah.
You're not drinking your little hug juice tonight?
In the late
shortage.
80s, a handful of Oscar Mayer employees tasked with selling more of the company's bologna came up with one of the best-selling kids' products of all time, Lunchables. See, I didn't realize it was the 80s when those came out.
I thought it was. I thought it was later than that. I don't remember no Lunchables.
Maybe they came up with it in the late 80s, and by the time it was mass-produced, it was...
Gee, I thought you were talking about politicians there for a minute selling bologna.
But that's interesting that it was just a handful of Oscar Mayer employees rather than... It doesn't say, but I'm assuming that it doesn't mean like the heavy-hitting think tanks that were, it was...
It was
people like you and me.
The rank and file.
Yeah. So the 80s is when... Well, you guys would have started in the 70s, 80s for me, but, I remember school lunches as being a thing of beauty. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, they probably weren't near as good as what our school lunches are now. Hillsborough has very good food. We have a fantastic school lunch program, and they do a great job. But back then, we thought that school lunches were great.
Yeah.
Gets you some... You had chicken nuggets, and you also had steak nuggets. The only way to tell them apart were the steak nuggets were just slightly grayer. They were both gray. Yes.
The steak nuggets were just slightly gray.
But the chicken nuggets were like the epidermis of a house mouse with breading around it. But the cool thing is we had when I was coming through, we had cafeteria workers that when nobody was looking, they would let you sneak a handful of chicken nuggets or steak nuggets to take on top of the ones that you already had on your tray. So we were putting chicken nuggets and steak nuggets in our pockets long before Napoleon Dynamite was putting tater tots in his
your pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, tater tots. Yeah, those should have been mentioned in school lunches.
Maybe they
speaking
will.
Speaking of things of beauty here.
Let's go to the 90s. So the 90s, this is what I meant when I said we didn't get to experience this. Fast food franchises set up shop in school cafeterias in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And childhood obesity rates began to climb. So rather than try to imitate fast food, in the 90s, many schools simply let fast food operators... So basically, rather than saying, hey, we're going to try to make our menus like something you could get at a fast food place, they just brought fast food companies in.
What a glorious time.
Federal government standards allowed McDonald's, Little Caesars, Chick-fil-A, and others to set up shop. Could you imagine having Chick-fil-A?
Gosh, I was just thinking that.
That'd be great.
The exchange was agreeable for both sides, and schools happily accepted funding while fast food companies were eager to reach young consumers. Let's see here. Lunch bags and boxes, meanwhile, overflow with indulgent gems like Dunkaroos. I don't remember Dunkaroos.
No, I don't know Dunkaroos.
Yeah. It's
Gushers.
like little dippy things.
Teddy Grahams.
Yeah.
Ecto Coolers. And bottles of Squeeze It.
Squeeze it.
It was a delicious time for kids, but with obesity rates on the rise, certainly not the healthiest. All right. Very quickly to the 2000s, school lunches got healthier. By 2005, half of all U.S. schools offered fast food in their cafeterias, with an even higher percentage carrying soda and snack vending machines. So there was some confliction there between, they were conflicted on what to do. On one hand, they needed the revenue that companies like Pepsi and McDonald's provided, but on the other hand, they couldn't overlook soaring obesity rates. Many began tweaking their menus, hoping to entice kids with dishes like grilled jerk chicken, grilled jerk chicken, barbecued pork sandwiches, and fresh instead of canned fruits and vegetables. So here's the thing: as a kid, if you were telling me that, okay, so we're not going to have cheeseburgers and rectangle pizza, chicken and steak nuggets anymore, we're going to have jerk chicken, I don't think I would have been enticed.
No, I want the rectangle pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love jerk chicken, but I'm not sure that 6-year-old me would have liked jerk chicken.
So on that note, and you mentioned it several times, or the article you have there has mentioned it several times, how much do you honestly feel that school lunch has contributed to obesity rates? I can't imagine it being a very high part of that.
No.
I don't think it does at all.
No.
Well, let me say this. Contribute, maybe.
A small contribution.
Exactly. Cause, no.
Yeah.
Well, we know this. There are some of our kids, it's the only meal they get.
Right.
So, which is why it's hard to want to see those calories slash, because some of them, that's the only calories they get in a 24-hour period, and they need them.
Right.
Whether they're healthy calories or not, they need the calories.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always thought that too, Eric. I don't think it was much of a contributor.
No. All right. We have several comments here. So Allison,
One more decade.
This is on the bologna salad front. Remembers a bologna salad that was good. So you ate the bologna salad and you liked it. Is that what you're saying there?
I'm telling you, you guys don't like it because you don't like ham salad. That's what a ham salad is. It's got bologna in it, and it's ham. It's pink. It's spreadable.
I wouldn't eat it based solely on its appearance. If it was fine Jamaican jerk chicken, it was that color, I wouldn't eat it. You wouldn't eat you wouldn't eat ham salad from honey baked ham because you don't like the idea of a ham being made into a spreadable.
No.
So I'm saying you guys kind of don't count. Like, your opinion doesn't count about that.
Wow!
Because to you guys,
flashback.
Yeah, right. So we've been corrected. That's who I was thinking of, Brady. I don't know if it's who you were thinking. Margaret Mead, the cultural anthropologist.
that's who it was. That's who it was talking about.
Okay, yeah.
But Margaret, she was talking about the author too.
Yeah.
Margaret Mitchell, wrote Gone with the Wind. Howard says his wife said cherry jello was in bologna salad as a binding agent or just for coloring.
Nothing wrong with that. It's got to be bound. It's got to be well bound.
Another from Savannah, school pizza was the best. I agree.
Yes.
And Mr. Heron, Dunkaroos were a cookie that you dunked into a chocolate icing.
I do remember
Yeah, I do remember that.
Sounds glorious.
Yes.
All right. I got one more decade.
Yep, one more
So
decade.
we got school lunch menus began to offer fresh, more nutritious foods in the 2010s. In 2010, President Barack Obama signed the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. We obviously know Michelle Obama made kids nutrition and fitness a priority with her Let's Move campaign.
And school lunches started hitting trash cans.
Yes, they did, in mass numbers. Celebrity chefs like Jamie Oliver promoting fresh local dishes for kids. Some schools installed vegetable gardens, and many began feeding student meals that would have seemed downright strange 2 decades prior. Houston School, for one, now offered turkey hot dogs, roasted summer squash, and fresh broccoli florets in addition to pizza, cheeseburgers, and chicken nuggets.
I'll take pizza and cheeseburger both, please.
Here's my problem, though. Feed them the damn cheeseburger and then throw some broccoli over there on the side of it in case they want it. But don't have, you know what I mean? Like,
it does no good to serve food if they're just throwing it away, and that's what was going on.
yeah,
Feed them that cheeseburger and have them run in the 90-degree heat.
There you go.
Until it's swat out.
Swat out. Gary says a binding agent to offset other effects. Indeed. For the cherry jello and the bologna salad.
On a slide.
All right. Thank you for the walk through the history of school lunches.
Yes.
Brought back many a memory, although I was one of those ones that went home. That's why I missed Brady's situation with the Playboy magazine. I was at home during lunch.
Minding my own business.
Exactly. Making my black market purchases at Katie's Delicatessen to bring back to school.
Your pretzel rods.
Astro Pops.
Astro Pops. Yes, those are. Opera Creams. Those are a popular item.
Astro Pops before they discontinued them?
Before, yes.
And before they had, because remember the one episode we talked about how they had the 1 year where they put them upside down to keep people from poking themselves in the eye.
That's ridiculous. That's Darwinism right there. I'll turn the Astro Pop upside down. What's going on?
Not only that, but if you're going to poke yourself in the eye, having it turned upside down could do more damage than just that little beady sharp end at the end. It's just going to go right in and come back out.
Going to take out the whole ocular cavity.
All right. Very good. Before we move into topic number 3, want to speak of our isms on our website. If you wonder what these things are we talk about sometimes, some of these terms we use, those are our isms, and I always read one for the benefit of our audience here, and I'll put that back up. Let me scroll down and find a good ism to read. The apostrophe / plural reference. A euphemism for one's private parts. Man, in the unedited version of Cocoon, I did not need to see Wilford's Brimley's. But I was okay with Jessica's Tandy's. So, those are our isms.
Well, and I think the classic, probably what started that was Kevin's Bacon. That was the first one in Wild Things or whatever that movie was.
It's like,
didn't need to see Kevin's Bacon.
Did you see Kevin's Bacon?
No, thankfully we avoided Dustin Hoffman's.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Indeed.
Or Ernest Borgnine's. Sorry.
Like we never had to see Jason's Robards.
Oh yes, we
Let's
can
do this for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Kelly's Savali.
This is our final topic, just apostrophical references. All right. Okay, our final topic of the evening is our game of the evening, and called What If? We have played it before, and just to remind all of our game here in the audience, again, we invite you to chime in as to whose answer is the best when we go through these things. And basically the game is what shouldn't you do in a situation that I read. So we'll do an example here. What if you step barefoot in dog crap? What shouldn't you do? And each of our co-hosts would come up with an answer for that as to what they would not do or should not do in said situation. And the audience will decide whose answer is the best. All right?
Yes.
Got it?
Sounds good.
All right, gentlemen. We drew straws backstage, drew lots backstage. Brady, you get to go first here. Okay. What if, and hopefully you haven't, maybe in a college situation, hopefully you haven't had this situation here. You realize that your roommate on the top bunk is
Flatulent.
no, pleasuring. Well, Brady thinks there, Howard's answer to if you step barefoot in dog crap, you should not lick it off. That's a good answer. The dog poop, that is. Hey, Brady.
You should not say, do you have any pork rinds?
Todd,
Can you
What?
repeat the question?
what if you realize your roommate on the top bunk is pleasuring himself? Or, I mean, I guess it doesn't really put a gender on this whole thing, but whatever.
Let's see. You should not turn the light on.
You should not turn the light on. So, audience, do you like Brady's answer? You should not ask if your roommate has any pork rinds, or Todd's answer, you should not turn the light on. Allison. Oh, now that reminds me of one time in basic training. Now, you can't start and leave an ellipse.
Well, maybe she should message.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. We've already endangered our PG-13 TV-14 rating here tonight.
But we do have a message and email.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we haven't been promoting much lately as far as getting people to. And we have the voicemail thing too. We haven't done in a while, so
that's
we should
true.
probably at the end of this episode
Yeah.
make sure we.
I will do that. Todd, Allison likes Todd's answer better. Howard says you should buy your roomie a personalized shirt that says "Founder of the Self-Pleasuration Society." Joe, you should not ask her if you're making bologna salad. Miss Wilson, Brady, she likes Brady's answer better. Allison, we just ignored what my top bunk mate was doing each night. Okay. Gary says Howard need to. I don't know. There's maybe a typo there. I need to know what you're responding to. Joe says Todd. So we have 2 votes for Todd, 1 vote for Brady, and we'll go a few more seconds here. Do you like Brady's answer of do you have any pork rinds, or do you like Todd's answer of don't turn on the light?
Can I vote for Todd?
Sure. Okay, we'll give that one to Todd. Todd leads 1-0. We will play to 5 here, gentlemen. Okay. All right, second situation. Todd, you get the first answer on this one.
Okay.
What if your mom's best friend shows up at your house with champagne and only wearing a trench coat? What should you not do?
Man.
Mr. Heron gave you a vote, Brady.
Generous of him.
So your mom's best friend shows up at your house with a bottle of champagne,
Yes,
wearing nothing but a trench coat.
correct.
You should not ask her if she has any watches for sale.
Nicely played. Trench coat. Yeah, watch. Yeah. Brady?
Partially on Todd's end, but different. I was just say you should not say, but it's not even raining.
All right. So Todd's answer, you should not ask her if she has any watches for sale. Brady's answer, say, but it's not even raining. Okay, so which answer do you like better, audience? Howard says, Allison's story brings the new meaning to be all that you can be. And also says you should not offer them a corkscrew. Correct. Allison says Brady. Howard says Todd. Miss Wilson says, don't say, here, I'll take those for you. Yeah. Joe says Todd. Mr. Heron, you should not ask her to put on some music. Vote for Todd. Yeah, if you put on music, the trench coat's probably coming off there.
Mrs. Wormer.
I was trying to think of a Tommy gun reference, but I kept thinking of the watches for sale.
It's like Stifler's mom, right?
Yeah.
Miss Wilson says Todd. Looks like Todd's going to take this one as well.
Yeah.
All right, and Savannah says Todd. So Todd out to
struggling.
a
Trend lately, though. I've jumped out to the lead, and then Brady
yes,
comes storming
yeah,
back.
You have 2-0 is our score. All right. What if? Let's see. We are to
Brady.
Todd. Oh, it's Brady. Okay, Brady. What if you accidentally fling your phone into the ring while enjoying a mud wrestling match? What shouldn't you do? You accidentally fling your phone into the ring while enjoying a mud wrestling match.
You should not shout, it's a foreign object in the ring.
Todd? You fling your phone into the ring while watching or enjoying a mud wrestling match.
You should not send your kid in to retrieve it.
And then we just question the fact that your kid is at a mud wrestling match.
That's
with
the
you.
point.
I was about ready to say, what a noble parenting. Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, my kid's 20 years old, so I mean,
There you go.
all right. So Brady's answer: you should not yell. There's a foreign object in the ring. And Todd's answer: you should not send your child in to retrieve your phone. Howard's answer was you should dive in and indulge in a three-way call.
Pushing that 14.
Yeah, yes, we are.
He's up again it. He's up again the TV-14 rating, but not in it.
Allison votes for Brady. Howard votes for Brady. Miss Wilson votes for Todd. 2-1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Todd from Savannah. So we have a tie.
You don't get a. First off, you don't get to put a count on it, Brady.
That's,
What's that
that's
all
right.
about?
Hey.
It's like Brady's up, then Brady's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm Bob Eubanks in this situation here. I'm Gene Rayburn. Don't just stay in your lane.
Just don't be Richard Dawson and try to kiss us on the lips.
And not unless you buy me dinner. All right, Mr. Heron votes for Brady. John votes for Todd. So what do we have? Brady,
One,
Brady.
two.
It's 3-3.
3-3.
Of course,
3-3. Next vote wins. Who hasn't voted? Brady's answer, there's a foreign object in the ring. Todd's answer, you should not send your child in to retrieve your phone. Do we have an answer? Do we have another vote? If we don't have another vote, you both get a point.
Which keeps it null set.
Yes, null set. Nicely played.
Oh.
Brady.
What?
Brady looks like an old woman watching like YouTube for the first time there.
Oh. Oh, heavens. Oh, heavens.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, Christy voted for Todd.
Yeah.
All right, Todd and Gary votes for Todd. So Brady gets thrashed.
He gets shellacked.
So that actually would be, I need to redo this here. It's 3-0.
No, I got one. I thought I got one.
No, sir.
No, you got one because I was going to give you both one, but then we had
Okay.
2 late votes. So
That's right.
Todd 3-0. Okay.
Got your text.
Okay.
All right, Todd, I believe this is you, correct?
Yes.
First answer. What if your paintball gun backfires and paints your face blue? What should you not do?
I can't say what I wanted to say right off the top of my head.
Howard actually...
You should not yell out, "Look here, you smurf and smurf."
Nicely played. Hey, look here, you smurf and smurf. Brady, what if your paintball...
Let's see.
I'm going to smurf you in the smurf hole. Now, hang on a minute. That sounded... You had to listen to what Brady said first. I did not mean that dirty. Brady, you were very quiet back there. You were very subdued. What did you say first, Brady? You said, "I'm going to kick you in the smurf hole." So then I said it would be, "I'm going to smurf you in the smurf hole." Smurf as a synonym, a blue synonym for kick.
Oh my god.
Brady?
Let's see. It's backfired, and I am now. Mine's a lengthy one. It's a movie catchphrase.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But go ahead.
Yeah, right, Brady. Maybe 25 years ago.
Well, there's
So-
something that's lengthy, but no, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm thinking this is a great movie quote. My paintball gun is just backfired. I'm now blue in the face. And I will say, and I quote, "I'm going to be waiting a long time, except now I'm already blue in the face."
All right. Todd's answer was... What did say it again? What the Smurf
You
and
don't
Smurf?
say... Oh, shit. Look here, you smurf and smurf.
Look here, you Smurf and Smurf. And Brady, say yours again.
Looks like we're going to be waiting a long time. Wait, I'm already blue in the face.
Todd.
Oh, come on.
I don't mean to be cocky, but if anybody votes for Brady, I just don't believe you.
If you have to give a 30-second explanation before you're...
It's a play on Roddy Piper's line from They Live. I came here to kick butt and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. We're going to be waiting a long time. Oh, wait, I'm already blue in the face.
Todd.
I'll text you guys what my first response.
Todd.
Good gosh.
I think that was a clean sweep.
It was funny in my head.
I just texted you what my first thought that came to my head was, to see if you liked it better than what I came up with.
All right. So we are on the cusp of a shutout. It's 4-0.
Skunk.
Brady?
I'm getting ready to poke at him.
Yes, you are.
Opus.
Yeah, one vote you didn't get, Todd. Jim voted for Howard.
That was out of pity.
No, it wasn't for you, Brady.
Yeah, it wasn't your vote. All right, so who's up here? Todd, is that you?
Me.
Oh, Brady. All right, Brady. What if you realize someone at the teenage graduation party you're at has spiked the punch? What shouldn't you do?
Can we go to a different question?
Yes.
Please. I don't ask that very often, but can we go to a different question?
All right.
I mean
This is a good one. What if you accidentally send a bitchy email meant for your employee to a customer with the same first name? What shouldn't you do?
Send the matching Zoom video.
Did you mean to put a British accent or just like in my ear it glitched and you said video.
Video.
Yeah, on the telly.
Send a video on the telly.
It's a music television on the telly.
Send the matching Zoom video, according to Brady. Todd?
Can you repeat the question, the situation?
The situation is you accidentally send a bitchy email meant for your employee to a customer with the same first name. What shouldn't you do?
You shouldn't follow it up with just kidding. I don't know.
Shit.
I have nothing. I have nothing on that.
So Brady's answer, I totally forgot it. Brady, what was your answer?
You sent a message to the matching Zoom video.
The Zoom video. Don't send the Zoom video, the matching Zoom video. And Todd says, don't follow it up with just kidding.
Yes.
In that tramp Carol.
All right. Howard says you should blame it on your COVID-19 symptoms. That's what you should do.
That's what you should do.
All right. So Allison says, Brady, were you just being merciful there, Todd? Are you just trying to get Brady?
No, I really could not. I could not carry out the skunking. I could not. The polecat was within my grasp, and he.
Brady. Because I was going to say, if you did say you were being merciful, you would automatically lose.
No.
I would give Brady the win.
I fully believe in my answer. I don't think you should follow it up with just kidding, because I don't think they would believe you.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Howard.
Howard, tell him you have just left a teenager party that had spiked punch. Yes. Brady. I think we can comfortably give Brady that point. He is off the schneid. But it
When
is
you're
still
on
yet
the schneid.
still yet 4-1. Okay. Here's a practical situation, Todd. What if your doctor tells you that you must stop drinking alcohol to cure your liver damage? What shouldn't you do? What if your doctor tells you must stop drinking alcohol to cure your liver damage? What shouldn't you do? And I just got a chance to read the text you sent, Todd. That's outstanding. Not show appropriate, but outstanding.
Did you read the rest of the text, Eric?
You shouldn't spit your bourbon in his face laughing at him.
You shouldn't spit your bourbon in his face laughing at him.
Yes. Like a... I had to go along with that, yes.
Hey.
The Leonardo DiCaprio face.
Yes.
Brady, what if your doctor tells you must stop drinking alcohol to cure your liver damage? What shouldn't you do?
You shouldn't say, I'll drink to that.
So Todd says you should not spit your bourbon into his face whilst scoffing. I'll add that.
Yeah.
And Brady says you shouldn't say, I'll drink to that. Audience answers you should not go on a binge drinking fest. You should not go to a teenage party where they spike the punch.
Why do I think that's going to be on a t-shirt of ours someday?
You shouldn't ask his receptionist out for a drink or 3. You should not tell the doctor at least there's still weed.
Hey, Joe Rocky for the win.
I was say, these are much better answers than we came up with.
Yeah, Brady. Miss Wilson, you should not throw a kegger to celebrate your sobriety. Brady. Well, here we go again, Brady. Easing back in.
Eat on down. I was singing that darn eating seeds song the other day when I was.
Eating seeds is a pastime activity.
All right, Brady.
Yes.
What if you spill red sauce all over your new white shirt while eating at an Italian restaurant? What shouldn't you do?
You should not yell, that's a spicy meatball.
Should not yell, well, that's a spicy meatball. Todd, you spill red sauce all over your new white shirt while eating at an Italian restaurant. What shouldn't you do? I'm waiting for the first audience answer. It has to do with a spiked punch bowl.
Damn it. I could have won it right there with that one. If I just... All right. Can you repeat one more time? Sorry.
What if you spill red sauce all over your new white shirt while eating at an Italian restaurant? What should you not do? Deep in thought.
You shouldn't... You shouldn't yell out your best Mussolini joke and yell, "This shit's not as good as Chef Boyardee anyway."
All right. Brady says you should not yell out, "That's a spicy meatball." Todd says you should
Like
not. Yeah, just like that.
You should not tell him your best Mussolini joke and that this shit is not as good as Chef Boyardee anyway.
Input from the audience. Savannah, yell out, "I've been shot." As Greg also said. Gary says you should not dip a breadstick in it and go on eating.
That's actually what you should do, Gary.
That's owning it.
Allison with the vote for Todd. Must have been the Mussolini.
I was going to go with a gangster.
And
A gangster.
Chef Boyardee walk into a bar.
Howard says you should, in your best Don Corleone voice, say, "I made an offset," and they just refused.
Offer. An offer.
Offer.
I think it's supposed to be an offer.
Off it. Yeah. Offer. Todd. Brady. Todd. Think we may have a winner.
See, I could have stopped with just the Mussolini joke, but I wanted to take the victory lap and go with the Chef Boyardee.
You're spiking
insult.
the meatball, man.
Yeah.
Brady.
I spoke too soon.
4-2.
Call it a comeback.
And I think Todd still safely has the point here.
Yeah.
So that's the winner. Todd with the win, 5-2.
This guy's starting to look like a tomato more than anything. He's like it's like if you entered this into the Brown County Fair as a tomato, you would win.
It's a tomato.
It's a bromato.
All right. With that, okay, we do want to remind you that the audio version of our show will be out at 3 a.m. on Friday morning, as it always is. We invite you to listen to the audio version and invite others to listen to the audio version. Yes, Miss Wilson, we love Stress Man too.
Thank you.
Yes. Again, we're
Stress Man. Squeeze.
Squeeze. We are on most platforms where you can find audio podcasts. Also, these video live recordings are archived on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Say it, Todd.
I have a question, Eric. We have
Yes.
a question
Yes, we have a question.
from a listener.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a message and it says, "When is the podcast from tonight on your website?" Figured out how to watch it from your website on my TV. So I know the Rockies at one point, I think they said they were watching it on their TV.
Yes.
I'm not sure why you want to blow our faces up on your TV, but either way, do you have the answer to that question, Eric, that you could...
Well, once it's archived on YouTube, it's there. It's on our website. So, I mean, once I hit end broadcast here up in the upper right-hand corner of my screen, it'll be on YouTube and it'll be on the website. The audio will be on there as of 3 a.m. on Friday. Of course, again, if you want to watch it on TV, you're watching the video version. So, like I said, as soon as we get done here, the moment we get done and I hit end broadcast, it'll be there. So,
And you can see us in high definition glory.
that's kind of scary.
And bromato, man, you get to see
Bromato.
bromato.
All right. Once again, I want to remind you what we said at the top of the show. Our time next week will be 7 instead of 8. We're going to go back to our school year schedule. 7 o'clock on Wednesday evening. I believe we're good for Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. We really haven't talked about that, but plan on Wednesday. If not, we'll send out a message on our invite. Invite other people to join us here. I know we had a pretty good crowd here tonight. Hopefully when things get a little bit less hectic outside. I know summer months are a little hard because people are out doing things, but invite some other people here to the show. We enjoy having our audience. You guys, again, as Todd said, you do much better at these things than we do, really. I mean, you certainly add to what we do, and this game, you guys knocked it out of the park, really. I think our audience members won.
So
I think they did.
So one thing is we talked about the voicemail.
Yeah.
we could play the voicemail probably during the live.
We could.
Yeah.
So if you want to leave a voice message, you can go to anchor.fm/play it by ear podcast. And there's a way to leave a voice message. Actually, if you wanted to be on our screen here with you, with us, we could do that as well. Yeah. So there's that. And email admin@playitbyearpodcast.com. That's easy enough. All right. Anything else for the good of the order, gentlemen?
No. Good show tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for participating.
Yes, thank you very much. And we will see you next Wednesday.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter @Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.